Hello out there in the YouTubeverse. It's been a minute, YouTubeverse, but you got Max. I am back, and I am doing some constructed fun for you today. We are doing a list that was created by John Wilkerson and given to Brian DeMars, and he shared it this week on his channel Fireball.com article, and it is a deck I'm calling Oops All Pridemates, because we're going to gain a lot of life, we're going to cast a lot of bears, and I just want to run through the deck tech with you here real quick and kind of explain what the deck's got going on, at least from my understanding. I literally have not played this deck yet, so we'll see how it goes. But we got 4 Healer's Hawk, 4 Leonin Vanguard, 4 Soul Mender, oh yeah, 4 a Johnny's Welcome, right? 4 a Johnny's Pridemate, 2 Impassioned Orator, 3 Pride of Conquerors, 4 Angel of Vitality, 2 Resplendent Angel, 3 Prison Realm, 1 Gideon Blackblade, and 3 a Johnny Strength of the Pride. Pretty cool deck, pretty spicy. We got Cryptic Caves if we kind of need some gas a little later on, and just 20 planes. So 22 lands. It's got a fairly high curve because we're playing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 3-drops and 3 4-drops. We're going to rush out, little guys. We're going to gain a ton of life, and we're going to try to see how it goes. The only card I'm not 100% sure on in this deck is Prison Realm. I guess we just don't have enough creatures that we'd prefer Conclave Tribunal. It just seems like being able to go creature, Conclave, I guess it's kind of the same as Prison Realm, because Prison Realm costs 3, the Scry 1, I guess, is the more important piece. Again, I haven't played this yet. I just saw the list and thought it'd be a treat to try, considering, you know, we're getting ready for a new Standard season come the fall and the new announced Eldraine. So we will, we'll see what can be done. But for now, we're going to Oops All Pridemates at people and see how that goes. And maybe it'll be all right. Maybe it won't. Who knows? I haven't been playing a ton of Constructed recently. I haven't been playing a ton of Arena recently. The summer's been very busy, and I'm sure it's probably been busy for all of you out there. It's summer, right? We're doing stuff. We're going places. We're seeing how things go. So this hand has 2 creatures we can cast. The Pride of the Conquerors looks a little weak. Prison Realm for any problems, and a Johnny Strength of the Pride for Pridemates and other shenanigans. So I think this is fine on the play. We'll give it a shot and see what we can do. Got an opponent here. I've disabled emotes. I've fallen that far from grace, and I know I've been the biggest proponent of hellos in Arena for a long time. Things have gotten so bad. All I've seen, and I mean, if you've seen otherwise, please let me know, because I want to know there's some light at the end of the tunnel here. All I have seen is just non-stop. Oh, should have played the Johnny's Pridemate first, but we'll play the. No, let's play the Johnny's Pridemate. We can oops our way through this, and it's fine. But one thing I definitely where was I going before I made the dumb mistake I made? I'm such a big proponent of spells in my second main, I didn't even think about it. But we'll beef up our Pridemate. We're missing out. If we lose by what could have been 1 point of damage, that's on me, right? But we'll see what we can do. So, yeah, it's been super busy, and we've been trying a bunch of stuff over at Supraliminal Films. If you haven't been checking it out, you are missing out, quite frankly, on some goodies. But we've been doing our best over there to make some cool content. A couple things coming to a close for the season. How good is that? Getting ready to end here shortly. Did the same thing. We'll do a Johnny here. Are you getting life equal number of creature control plus number of planes? Well, sure. Let's gain some life. And we've been doing a ton of stuff. Pop-up video, we're actually going to break up into seasons now. If you haven't seen that and you're a fan of pop-up video, I'm going to explain in the video when it comes out here. Comes out next week at time of recording on the 1st of August. So get hyped for that one. But we are going to break that up now into pieces and kind of into seasons, and we're going to do episodes because the pauper format's been shaken up pretty good. I'm very surprised by it, to be honest. It's gone through so many changes so fast, which is unusual for pauper. So I'm definitely interested to see where it goes from here. This has no kind of evasion. This has no kind of ability to attack. So we will go ahead and attack with just the... And we could have backed up with Pride of Conquerors, but this also leaves us up 2 blockers for their shenanigans, and I'm very interested in potentially ultimating the Ajani. We'll see. We can definitely make another Pridemate here. Queen's Commission's fine. But yeah, so we're going to break that up into seasons. We're also finishing up How Good Is That? Our ranking podcast, where we take one thing and we rank it from best to, or our favorite to least favorite, or least favorite to favorite. And that's coming to an end. We are doing the films of Quentin Tarantino, which is pretty cool, I think. So we're going to trigger the Vanguard, which will trigger both of our Pridemates. And we will go ahead and send some beat-em-ups our opponent's way, who looks like they're on vampires, but a more mid-rangey build of vampires. So, interested to see kind of how this plays out. I think for now they're just back-footed on resources, like 2 Queen's Commission and a Mortify isn't really doing much. Okay, up to 30 life will... I mean, I don't think we've seen a target worth... using our Prison Realm on yet. I want to save that for a higher impact vampire, to be perfectly honest. But next turn we can trigger the Vanguard, trigger the Healer's Hawk, trigger a Soul Mender. Now that's the kind of guy I want to use a Prison Realm on. Now imagine an opponent here is going to jam. They have good attacks. I imagine everything's going to come into Johnny. They're going to lose 1 vampire in the process of all of this. So they think. We can Pride of Conquerors. We have 5. We have Ascend. So I'm going to pass to blockers. I'm going to block, and you guessed it, I'm going to block. Creatures you control. I just want to make sure I read this right and it wasn't attacking creatures or something. This should be scoop worthy here. They did not scoop. This should be scoop worthy here. Move the plane to the bottom, obviously. But this Prison Realm should be scoop worthy, I wager. And then we will gain some life to potentially go off with a Johnny next turn. Because now we get to just wrath our opponent's board. They can do as many vampires as they want. They could literally play infinite vampires and it wouldn't matter. So we get the first one up to 40 life to dead. Kind of good. And now this deck was designed to kind of prey upon the current meta of Arena, and I think it's a spicy choice. That's why I wanted to play it, because not only do I think it's funny, like it's, you know what I mean, goofy, all Pridemates kind of thing. It's funny. It's got meme value, but I also think it's like legitimately pretty good. I have been playing mono blue for the most part because I really don't want to give up my wild cards till Eldraine comes out. This again looks like a keep. We're 1-2, and then potentially a bunch. But I've seen a lot of mountains out of opponents on Arena here. Been a lot of mono red, and I've been playing mono blue trying to kind of fight through it. It's pretty good. Mono blue's seen a bit of a resurgence lately. I just figured for a video it wouldn't be as exciting as playing something like this, but I must say tonight we're playing this and we haven't seen a mountain yet. We've seen plenty of swamps aplenty, but it could be that people are trying to get their vampires in. Vampires is a sweet deck. It's pretty darn competitive, and oh, I spoke too soon. Perhaps we're on an Esper hero deck that maybe is just having some awkward draws. Give him a chance to counter our Impassioned Orator. It's a decent counter choice here. It's going to trigger the Welcome. It's going to allow us to trigger our Vanguard. It's going to, I mean, like, it's going to give us some life for sure. They're going to cast down on the Vanguard. Good enough. And I mean, our goal is kind of not to lose to the burn decks. It looks like we're going to play. I'm thinking it could just be straight blue-black, But I was thinking it was maybe something like an Esper Hero deck on an awkward draw. See again if they have a response to an Ajani's Pridemate, which is again a legitimate threat here on this board. Counterspell here would be great. Sinister Sabotage, probably the counterspell of choice, I would guess, because all these triggers are pretty bad. So what's nice is here, if the opponent follows up this turn, this upcoming turn of theirs with some kind of high impact spell, a Ritual of Soot, something like even a Cry of the Carnarium would be good enough to kind of stop our clock. Right now we're getting them because we're playing relevant spells and we're adding to the board. So the opponent can't keep up with everything we're doing right now, which is kind of our advantage. But I know I'm not really giving anything up here. I was going to say I know I'm giving up a point, but that's not true because I don't have an Ajani's Pridemate this time. Okay, so I wager our opponent's going to counter the spell, but we do need to cast our spells. So if they just have a Chemisters or like a something along those lines, okay, they have a negate. That's fine. If they don't have a follow-up here, like a Cast Down or something, we're in good shape. Looks like they do. Okay, that was a big turn for them. Being able to double spell against us was very important. Putting us down to a 12-turn clock is quite good. Now, if they don't have anything to rebound from all this, okay, Eldest Reborn's not bad. They'll be able to get our Ajani eventually, which is pretty bad for us, and us drawing Stone Cold Blank is pretty bad. Probably the Conquerors, I definitely see why it's in a 2 of, but it's definitely not very good. Unless you're ahead. I'm not a big fan of cards like that. Like, we saw it break parity against the Vampire's opponent, so we're going to go ahead and scoop them up here for the sake of getting in as many games as I can in this video. But just that turn of double spell, you see how good that is. I mean, we drew pretty poorly there towards the end. We drew a lot of our gas here. Let me spin one of these blue or black figures. Spin one of my quests, see if I could get it into something that's cast white spells, but no. Considering we're all monoplanes deck. Playing against Abraham, alright. Very biblical name. We've been on the play like gas. I mean, again, this is a pretty weak hand. I think we're going to mulligan this, try to take advantage of the London. Because I think we need something a little bit more potent than that, and this looks way better. I'm going to just go ahead and bottom Pride of Conquerors. And, no, I want Pride of Conquerors, please. Done. Okay, and we've had Healer's Hawk on 1 every single game. Not complaining about that part of it. We'll see what, if we draw a 1-drop, we'll do what we did last time, like double 1-drop. We'll see what opponent does. Do they have a 1-drop? Llanowar Elf, perhaps. That's the one. That's the one you want. Okay. Johnny's Pridemate first this time. We're learning. It's okay to make a mistake. Learn from it, though. That's the important thing. We all make mistakes all the time. Don't let it tilt you. Try to learn from it. It's all we can do to get better. Occasionally I'll get mad. I mean, we all get mad, right? It's the way it is. So let's see what this opponent's on. Okay. Foul Orchard. Into a Paradise Druid. If you want to view Paradise, simply look around and view it. This is a weird deck because you want to play your creatures in the first main phase. Okay. And I think we kind of want to be against these creatures. I mean, we'll see if we're against like a Sultai deck that's playing like Hydroid Krasis and trying to go way over the top. We may struggle a bit. If we're on this green-black deck, we might be able to race a fine finality. We'll see. But Johnny's Pridemate, I mean, I'd probably keep that Jade Light on top. Yeah, because that's quite a good top deck there for them. Are they going to go Branchy? Nope. Play Gideon.
I am here to aid in the assault.
Okay, does enter as a creature. I did it just in case. That interaction is a little strange to me. So if we give Vigilance, they can double block. That's still kind of good for us. We don't give up a whole lot of gas to do it, but I think Indestructible Shove for a million's pretty good. What we're hoping they don't do is untap and go find, but we're above that right now. So what I'm thinking is we want to go ahead and give Vigilance to protect Gideon on our next turn in case they want to swing everything at Gideon.
Your light will cleave the darkness.
And that way, if they want to gang block a Johnny's Pridemate, they can. I'm fine with that. I mean, we know their next turn likely will be a Jade Light. Could be they have a pump spell here, which is... Well, maybe a removal spell? They're going to cast off the Paradise Druid? I'm kind of cool with that. We'll see. This is still a tough situation for the opponent to work their way through. Okay, looks like they're going to go for the double block. Of course, we're going to take out the bigger creature if we can. I mean, there is definitely... Well, right now, we'll take out both, right? If they have a pump spell, that changes things. If they have like a disfigure, that changes things. It depends on what they have. Assassin's Trophy on Gideon Blackblade. I think they screwed up pretty bad there. Because he has Indestructible on my turn. And now they can't... Yeah, that was a pretty big error. Ugh. They could just do that now and they'd have been fine. Hate to see that. Hate to see that. Hopefully the opponent doesn't make that mistake again. We have them on a 2-turn clock, even if they manage to deal with Gideon. Just with the Healer's Hawk and the Angel of Vitality. Okay, they're Jade Lighting. And they have a Growth Chamber Guardian. So they're like a green-black, I guess, kind of lower-end mid-range. Because we haven't seen anything that costs more than 3 yet out of our opponent. But with Paradise Druid and Llanowar Elf, that would lead me to believe that they're probably trying to do stuff that's a little bit more degenerate. If you gain 5 or more life. So we want to go ahead and give lifelink to the Angel of Vitality. Lifelink. So we gain 5 life and make an angel. We'll see if the opponent's got a Find Finality. That's definitely something on our radar. I think that's kind of the only punish they have out of green-black is Find Finality. And if opponent's been stonewalling it, they have to draw a mana. That is important because that card does cost 6. But if they have a mana, they can Find Finality us. And the thing about this deck is it's kind of a no-regrets deck because I'm just kind of doing the thing. I don't have a choice, really. This is a do-the-thing deck. That's what we've elected to do. The choice I made was playing the deck, so we're going to play the cards and kind of just hope for the sweepers to not come. If we can thoughtfully play around a sweeper, we'll do that, of course. But Resplendent Angel gaining us, you know what I mean? Like, that was 6 life gain that turn. And triggering another angel, we had so much inevitability to the board where one pinpoint removal spell doesn't win them the game. This is all in the air, too. This is a ton of damage in the air. This is 12 damage in the air currently. And Gideon's on the point where he can exile a non-land permanent. So even if they were Sultai and like produced a Hydroid Crisis this turn, they wouldn't be able to do anything with it. So that's pretty cool, I think. Opponent definitely taking their time. Could have DC'd. It's possible. There's a lot of salt that gets spewed around these lower levels when you're trying to rank your way up to gold. Cool. We'll just go ahead and attack with our Air Force. I'm not going to bother activating Gideon right now. This opponent's probably DC'd at this point. It's like, F it. Mono white nonsense deck. Gains 1,000,000 life. I'm done here. Understandable. It is kind of a meme deck, so I get it. But at the same time, doesn't make for good TV. But let me jump way back. But Pop-Up's ending. It's first season. We've decided to make it a season. It's a ton of work to do, so we decided to break it up into seasons. And also, again, there's been so many changes to Pauper. We want to make sure that we re-grok it. We want to rework some of the things, make it look nicer. I think we did a good job for our first outing of 8 episodes, but 7 or 8 episodes? God, maybe it's only 6. Ugh. It feels like 1,000,000. So we really want to re-grok everything and make sure it's good. And we've been paying a lot more attention to Pauper. Our LGS is starting to pick up on Pauper. So we're hoping that all that goes well. So let us know, of course, in the comments, especially for next week's pop-up. Make sure you check it out. Even if you don't watch it. Just give it a quick glance. We appreciate it. If there's something you want to see us play in the future, let us know, because there's been so much changes as far as the unification and the big bannings of the cards. We did a video about that, the unification, and then like Modern Horizons has like completely shaken up the format with cards like Arkham's Astrolabe, Weather the Storm, all kinds of stuff, everything out of that set. There's so many pauper pieces. Shenanigans is even good in your sideboards. It's crazy. Very Seer, Disfigure, like it's, or not Disfigure, Defile. It's just nuts. Opponent goes first on a hand that doesn't do very much, so I'm going to mulligan. It seems like this is a deck that really wants to lean on London. So we're going to go ahead and keep 6 here, and again, ditch Pride of Conquerors, because our hand's just kind of gas. We can go 1 drop, 1 drop. I don't like this orientation. I like it left to right, like a book. To read my hand like a book. We'll play the Vanguard. They're playing Plains, so this is a creature deck. If it's traditional mono white, this kind of favors us a little bit, or at least should. Okay, so could be Feather. That's going to be a lot harder of a match to play. It is Feather. That's going to be a much tougher game to play. But we'll try our best to get through it. We have a lot of life gain in here. But we'll try to race, and that's kind of what we're at here, is we're trying to race this opponent. We'll see what they can do here. Okay, they're a little bit of a slow start. Little ballsy of an attack there. I mean, we could have double blocked. Doesn't feel great. But we're kind of doing it. We can swing 2 bears. They get a free block. That's fine. They can't produce any tricks on no mana. We'll see what we can do. Right now, it feels okay. They can really go off. But that's quite the card to do it. Cast a spell. Okay. So it's not an ability. It's just a spell. No blocks. We're not worried about that. We're more just worried about trying to keep parity on board. I can't attack with anything, unfortunately. But again, just the 3 life we're gaining a turn cycle is pretty good. If they want to attack with Aurelia, they can. The Danto Vanguard's fine. I don't know if they want to attack with Aurelia or not. It gives vigilance, right? Yeah, it gives vigilance. Okay. If it's red, it gets this. If it's white, it gets this. Got it. And that's fine. We're going to gain more back in a turn cycle than they have to give. Okay, they're going to mentor. This is a tricky situation of blocking because they have 2 cards in hand. Cards that they have in their deck include Defiant, Strike. And right now our blocks are just kind of terrible, so we're going to go ahead and take our lumps. See if they have a trick here. They wouldn't mind spinning a 1-mana spell. If they had a Defiant Strike, I think they'd use it because they could get 2 draws off of the... they would do it beforehand and then again because of the Dreadhorde Arcanist, I think. I'm not really super experienced with the Feather deck, so I'm not 100% sure. I know we're going to get a lot of triggers off this at Johnny's Pridemate. It's already a 6/6. We can make it a 7/7, so that's going to be our racer. We'll see if we can... we should be able to fade any removal of the opponent. They generally don't do that. They're trying to enable a proactive game plan to go over the top here. But we've assembled quite the card with that. A Johnny Strength of the Pride would also be lovely. Just to make an Ajani's Pridemate at this point. There's the Defiant Strike. We talked about this being able to be spun back with the Dreadhorde Arcanist, and they feel the need to do this here because they have the 10th District Legionnaire. They need this kind of pressure to do this. They need to find something, right? Like, this is them trying to gas out to find an answer to Johnny's Pridemate, who can take over the game pretty quick. So right now we attack past anything as it is. So we'll see what they do. Okay. Probably going to see an attack with... Oh, okay. Don't mind that. I mean, we're just catching up so fast. Okay. Let's go into Johnny Strength of the Pride. I'm going to plus him to see what they do with him. Because the plus here is going to... it's going to gain us a bunch of life. It's going to make this a Johnny's Pridemate even bigger. Maybe I just make it a Johnny? The problem is they attack through with Trample because I don't have enough flying damage. So let's go ahead and gain life. So we have a lot of creatures out. Let's gain a gain of 7 life. Could be an 11-11. So we go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and they have a trick to go 10-11. So that looks like it's still kind of... I may be playing this a little conservative, but this is my big threat. So I don't know if I want to give it up right away, but this might be the right attack with a Johnny, the Strength of the Pride back. Because if they want to go for a huge block, that really is going to eat up some of their their things. God's willing. Sure. God's willing a bit of a problem here because they can buy it back with the Arcanist. And all of our creatures obviously being white means that they can use it on the 10th District Legionnaire to attack a Johnny for 5 without any other tricks. We'll see what they do. I mean, Johnny Strength of the Pride ended up being pretty good. We'll see what their attacks are. I mean, they give up a little bit to make the attack. So we'll see. Okay, they're going to Reckless Rage. Sure. And here comes the Arcanist. So 3/5 means we can quad block, but he gets to come back at could take down all of our ones. Okay, God's Willing is going to come at him and get pro white. Okay, so they're just going to go for the clean removal of a Johnny here, which makes sense. And good news for us is our opponent keeps scrying to the bottom. Okay, we know this works.
Together we can banish evil from this plane.
I think, again, the best thing here is Vigilance. Lifelink obviously is kind of sweet, but we are at plenty of life. I mean, 14 Vigilance. They'll probably pay the 4 life here. That's fine. It's like a Johnny trampled over for 4 damage. And 1 in the turn. That gives us in a Johnny we can protect relatively well. Or, sorry, a Gideon we can protect relatively well. The Aurelia is the big problem. And Aurelia is usually a 1-of in these feather decks, so our opponent definitely drew the best card potentially in the matchup for themselves. Obviously, Feather would be quite good as well. But their hand's not bad. It just means they can't make any more cheeky Arcanist attacks. At least not without a God's Willing in their hand. So likely this is going to be in Aurelia pumping itself. Attacking Gideon. If they have a pump spell, we'll probably see it here. So it doesn't look like it's a Gird for battle because they're in their combat steps. So it'll probably be a Defiant Strike would be my guess. Okay. Maybe a Shotgun Gideon here? No. Okay. So we have an Ajani Strength of the Pride. So if we play this post-combat... Yeah, let's play this post-combat. Let's go ahead and give this Ajani's Pridemate lifelink.
Prepare for battle.
This should put us over the top. Because we'll be able to zero this Ajani. If this hits. And this also broadcasts maybe to the opponent. If they play God's Willing, we're in trouble. Yeah, they're going to give this Indestructible. We're going to play Reckless Rage, targeting our Blessed Orator. Sure. I mean, might as well get as much as you can out of it with Indestructible, right? Puts us up to 50 life. And we'll go ahead and play this Ajani Strength of the Pride. We'll zero it out. Yep. Okay, cool. I was hoping that move worked. Good. Awesome. Got over the feather opponent. So we'll do one more. This should make it a decent length video without being, like, fully long, hopefully. So we'll do one more with the Oops All Pridemates deck. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, obviously, you know, YouTube stuff. Subscribe. Subscribe's a big one for us. We're trying to build an audience. So if you, I mean, don't subscribe just to make us feel good. But if you genuinely want to watch content we put out, we would really appreciate a hitting of the subscribe button. It would mean a lot to us. If you don't, I mean, that's cool. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it. We put out Magic stuff all the time. We do a lot of other stuff too. We do a lot of film stuff. Obviously, the channel's called Supraliminal Films. We start off with a lot of films and filmmaking stuff, and we still do quite a bit of that. We do a lot of Magic, do a lot of fun stuff, board gaming stuff, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of nerd stuff, right? If it's nerd stuff, we're doing it. This hand looks good enough that I'm not going to risk a mulligan here. We're close to casting everything. We can Pridemate and try to set up something decent there. Might just play Najani's Welcome depending on what they're doing. We are against a wolf made of coffee. Okay, looks like we're going to have all the time in the world. So I think probably means what's best for us is an Ajani's Welcome. Then next turn we can immediately bulk up the Pridemate, and we'll see if we can get away with that. Going tall generally against these decks is a little bit of a bad idea from time to time. Okay, this is going to be Temur Elemental, so we may not have as much time as I first thought. We're still going to stick to the plan. We're going to have an Ajani's Pridemate that's pretty big. And we'll try to get around the giant blue-green, or the giant red-blue-green jelly bean that is Omnath. Okay, they got a Stomping Ground, nice. Okay, we got an Ajani. So let's go ahead and play the Blessed Orator. We'll play the Vanguard again, because that'll give us another trigger on Ajani. And you can see kind of why I wanted to set up this Pridemate. This is enormous. This is a big old boy. So we're going to have the opponent kind of hopefully struggling to keep up with this. There's the aforementioned bean. But they're pretty far behind here. So they get to bean up at us, I think. He puts counters on. Yeah, when he enters the battlefield, he does stuff. Got it. What's better than the first Ajani's Pridemate? The second Ajani's Pridemate. And what's good about this deck is it's just so low to the ground, and it has so many stupid triggers. And meanwhile, like, we're still attacking. This is a 10-10. I mean, this deck will be able to keep up. I mean, we have them locked up in the Abyss. Next turn, we have 2 copies of the Abyss. So they're going to need a lot to get through this. I mean, and if these Strength of the Prides come down, things get even more real. Okay. Some real cards. Oppo got real cards. But I kind of, if I draw a spell, I'll be able to cast it. Unless it's the 3rd Strength of the Pride. I mean, I'm in pretty good shape here. Yeah, even a Soul Mender's kind of decent. And it's a 7-7, a 12-12. Yeah. Okay. See if opponent can fire back. They're definitely keeping their hand filled. So Risen Reef probably the most difficult card for us to deal with, because it just puts more elementals into their hand. So that's a card we kind of have to be able to deal with. And Omnath's going to get... I mean, Omnath's not small. I mean, it's not blocking a 13-13, but if they keep throwing out kind of negligible creatures, it's not going to do much. Went for Soul Mender. Okay. Putting counters. Scrying. I mean, this deck gets so many triggers, it's crazy. We get a lot of nonsense triggers. They get a lot of good triggers. Yep. Like, look at their hand, right? Like, it's a lot of resources. We probably need a land here. Okay. Thinking. We can't do the Ajani trick we did last turn, but we can scare them pretty good with this one. To any target. That's one of ETBs. Not this. These two, though. We will make another Ajani's Pridemate. And we'll see what we can do with that. Because we're up to 33 here. We go up to 35 pre-combat. As long as they don't kill our Healer's Hawk and or our Vanguard. Or if we draw anything next turn. Okay, that's a good game. So, kind of a sad when we had to end on a scoop. But, you know, when you draw infinite cards, right? Drawing cards is the most powerful thing you can do in Magic, for sure. So, we played the Oops All Pridemates, so we saw where it excelled, right? Kind of the beat-em-up, mid-rangey decks. We didn't get to see any aggro decks. When I played Mono Blue the other night, onslaught of mountains. Today, not a single mountain that wasn't paired up with an elemental. So, you can kind of see the strengths of the deck. You can kind of see the weaknesses of the deck. It's got some good stuff going for it. It's got some negative stuff going for it. But what's cool about it, and the reason that drew me to it, and the reason I'm putting it on display, is because you probably can build it for like 1 or 2 mythic rare wild cards, if anything else. I needed 2 Ajani's Strength of the Pride and 1 Resplendent Angel. I had everything else. Or no, I think I needed the Angel, the Uncommon Angel. So it's like I spent 3 uncommon wild cards and 3 mythic wild cards, and I was able to construct a deck. I saw plenty of wild cards for Eldraine, and so let me keep playing through. It's a ton of fun. It's just some beat-em-up good stuff. So give it a try. And like I said before, if you want to catch us anywhere, you want to find us Supraliminal Films on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter, we're Supraliminal FLM. So if you're on the socials, we social all the time. So we'd love to talk to you. We're always looking for somebody to chit-chat with about Magic or nerd stuff in general. Supraliminalfilms.com is where you can find everything all at once. And leave a comment below. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have, you're the best. And until next time, you got to cast more spells.